Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the One More Podcast. It is me, of course, Yuval, as I'm always here, unfortunately, and my guest again, because I have no friends other than my buddy. If you'd like to introduce yourself for the first time ever.
First time ever?
First time ever.
I'm new, very controversial opinions. My name is
very
Blake.
much so.
Get used to it.
Done. There it is. So last time we did Mad Libs, and I thought that was kind of funny. So I figured let's change it up a little bit and we'll do Mad Libs, but then the person who gave the responses will have to then recite the story with marshmallows. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, we got a bunch of marshmallows here. So kind of a variation to the Chubby Bunny game, but with Mad Libs.
The Chubby Bunny game is you have marshmallows in your mouth and you have to you have one in, you have to say Chubby Bunny, and you keep going until you can't say
Chubby Bunny anymore.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and jump into the Mad Libs.
So are we just going to put as many in our mouth as possible?
Yeah, just right from the get-go.
As many as we can until we can talk. You know what I'm saying? So if I could put 11 in my mouth.
Sure.
If I can't say a word and it's just
right.
Then
we'll quickly do Chubby Bunny. Get to the point where you can verbalize words, but it just sounds stupid, and then we'll go from there. So the first thing definitely we're gonna have to do is which one story do you want to tell? We got a ninja fight song, Dancing Through the Decades, Benjamin Franklin, My Favorite Teacher Contest, A Letter to Santa, video games, A Morning Person.
Confessions of a Pizza Eater.
Oh, great. Okay, here we go. All right, give me a nationality.
Nationality?
Mm-hmm.
Russian.
You know how Russians love
their
pizza. Celebrity?
Celebrity. Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. A noun?
Lamp.
It's funny because my lamp burnt out. Adjective.
Salty,
and I am salty about it. Wow, you're just describing me. A type of liquid.
Whiskey.
All right, a plural noun.
Cigars.
All right, type of food.
Italian. I guess that makes sense.
Italian.
That's the only thing in this that makes sense.
The only thing. Give me another noun.
Another noun? Chef.
Verb?
Running. Or run.
Adjective?
Shocking.
Spelled that wrong, but whatever. Adjective?
Colorful.
I know, puppy. I'm babysitting a puppy, and he is really loud and annoying, and my cat and the puppy do not get along. So you might hear a dog every now and then. Type of food.
That encompasses a wide range, or a specific food?
Just a type of food. Whatever you think.
Seafood.
Seafood. I was about to do seafeed. And give me a number. Make it outrageous.
32.
That's
my favorite number.
Okay, no, that's fine. Then we can totally do that. All right, here we go. We are compiling it.
Chubby Bunny real quick first.
And just to let everybody know, these are very high in sugar and carbs, so Blake will not be eating these as he is on a diet. It's actually pretty crazy the amount of carbs that are in these.
24 for one. They're so good.
I'll do it too. Chubby Bunny.
I guess it helps what I did. Chubby Bunny.
Chubby Bunny. Whoop. Come on, Blake.
Chubby Bunny.
Chubby Bunny. Chubby Bunny.
It hurts. I can't. Give me the fucking thing.
All right. One more. Come on, Blake. Let's go.
The pizza. The pizza was invented by a famous Russian chef named Jonah Hill. To make a pizza, you take a lump of lamb and make a thin, round, salty pancake. Then you cover it with tomato whiskey and Parmesan cigars and pieces of Italian. Next, you bake it in a very hot chef. Then you running it and slice it into wedges. Some people, some people like shocking pizzas best. My favorite is the colorful pizza. My mother says that pizza is junk food, but I think it is better than seafood. If I could, I would eat pizza 32 times a day. Ta-da!
Here you go, Blake. You spit it out.
Oh my god.
What a champ. What a champ. Sorry, I should have did a discretion warning. Woo! Okay. Okay. See, I don't think you were supposed to stuff it to the side. I think you're just supposed to cram it in your mouth.
What?
Yeah, you just cram it in your mouth until
I thought you were cramming as much as possible.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Here, let me see it. All right. Well, that was good. I'm sorry, Blake. I didn't mean to hurt you.
No.
I didn't think
it
that
hurt because I was smiling the whole time and trying not to like swallow it.
That's true.
Okay.
I did not pay attention to that story at all. Something about how to make a pizza and then that's it, and then you'd eat 32 pizzas a day.
I'd eat 32 times a day if pizza was the meal.
Okay. I mean, I agree. Pizza's really good. So,
Mm-hmm.
real quick before we kind of jump into some topics that I had, I wanted to kind of talk about something that I did today. Not like to boast about it or anything. I just figure since you have done this already, like long time ago, just kind of the mentality. And we were talking about this earlier. So, I just recently got rid of all my social media. I didn't delete I didn't delete my account. So I didn't you won't if you still look me up on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you'll still find me. But my apps I've deleted.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like, at work and, on my off time and just whenever I have free time, I just feel like I'm always staring at it. And it's not even it's not even kind of those stereotypical things where you say, oh, if you look at social media, your life's going to be depressed because you're envious of the other people and
right.
and you can't judge what people's happiness is based on social media because it's only a glimpse of what it is and blah, 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 like fake. A snapshot. Right. So I feel like I didn't delete it specifically because, I'm envious of other people's lives. Like, genuinely speaking, I'm happy for people. Anytime good fortune happens on someone, seriously, all the props. I love hearing good news. I know I've said this before, but Blake tells me good news, I'm happy for him. Evan tells me good news, I'm happy for him. With all my friends. But I just felt like I guess really realistically it was a time waster for me. Mm-hmm. It was just I would sit down on the couch or whatever. I get home from work, sit down. I'm just on social media, scrolling on Reddit or something like that. We'll just eat, half an hour goes by, and then it's like, oh crap, I have stuff to do. I have things to do. I have people to talk to, blah, 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 podcasts to edit and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just, was that kind of your same reasoning for it? Or were you more of the seeing other people's lives?
No, there was probably 3 or 4 reasons why I deleted everything.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the number one reason why is because I didn't want to become the narcissism that I saw day in and day out on my Twitter feed or on my Instagram account or Snapchat or whatever. I just saw a bunch of people that wanted to let everybody know what was going on in their lives. And I remember thinking back, does anybody keep shit private anymore? Is that a thing? There used to be, and I guess this is kind of my dad talking through me, but there used to be a time where men didn't air out their bullshit to the world. It was you go to work, you love your wife, your kids, your family, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And you don't talk about your personal stuff because 1, it's nobody else's fucking business. Okay. And 2, that doesn't help me to talk about personal stuff. I need to figure shit out for myself. And I think all that social media was getting in the way of that, of getting in the way of me trying to be who I am, not who I should be for my 1,000 audience, whatever.
Sure.
And so I didn't really even have a fucking problem deleting any of it.
Okay.
I looked forward. I relished in it.
I don't want to say this was a huge life-changing moment. Honestly, this was very much a whim for me. Just, it was, this morning I didn't really feel great. I went to work. Work was just kind of as is. I was dealing with, BS. And then I got home and I was just kind of thinking about it. And the thought was in my head a while back, just saying, okay, let's just take a break. Mm-hmm. But I mean, honestly, just for me, it's like, just make the jump, see what happens, and literally I even on my Messenger, which is not even social media, it's just a way to chat with other people. App to chat with other people. I just told everyone there, I said, hey, I'm deleting everything. If you want to get a hold of me, text me and call me. Mm-hmm. And not to like say this was like a let's see who's like my actual friends, like kind of bullshit. But like, I did have a couple people who texted me say, hey, everything all right? Blah, blah, blah. Are you okay? Everything's going on. And I was like, yeah, everything's fine. I just, figured let's try this out. If I am going to be honest, I have felt kind of bummed out a little bit. I couldn't say I'm like depressed or anything. I couldn't say that for a fact because, I'm not a therapist or anything like that. But I just feel like, it's very much an up and down kind of thing for me. So let's just say the whole month of June, I would say probably 90% of the time was good. Mm-hmm. I was happy. I was doing things. I was being productive, blah, blah, blah. So, the whole staring at social media, that was kind of like in the back. That was very far in the back where if I'm doing, if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are like back-to-back stuff, I'm just doing things. And then Thursday, I spend a couple hours on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is. That's not going to impact me as much because I have so much other stuff that I'm focusing on. And so I guess it's only the beginning of July, so who knows what'll happen. But, now that there's all that pressure to do all this stuff and this pressure to get this, stuff done, that's gone. And now it's like, oh, hey, now I'm spending a lot of time where I could be listening to a book or, I could be writing more because that's literally
discovering a new band.
Exactly. That's what I would love to happen right now because I've been stuck
you're in installment.
I've been stuck on ELO and
what a great band to be stuck on.
I love ELO. I mean, like they've always been in my library, but I just have their greatest hits album. And so it's just like I'm driving home from work and I'll just start it with Mr. Blue Sky and then just play through the songs and then exactly.
And you just get in a happy mood.
No, for sure. ELO, don't get me wrong. Like I don't think I'll ever like say, ew, don't put ELO on, but it's kind of gotten to that point where, all right, let's do something new because I think it's just ELO and early Kanye when he like sampled good songs and stuff. And then I think there's maybe one or two others, but it's kind of the same things over and over again. So definitely would love to get it out of the band rut. But yeah, I don't know.
How do you like, I don't know. What did you feel like after you straight up just deleted it? Because I think I was different and I deactivated it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like there was no going back for me.
Sure.
It was, all right, this is it. If I ever wanted to get one of these things back, I would have to rebuild all that bullshit. Mm-hmm. But I like the first couple of days, I remember feeling like, oh yeah. And I would like look at my phone and then after that it was like I'm just going to put my phone down and like not even look at it. And then it got to the point where I'm just going to leave it in my pocket. And then it got to the point where I'm just going to leave it in my car. Well, to where I just weaned off of it because it's honestly an addiction.
For sure. Like, and this is what I hate about technology as a whole. But again, caveat, I love it. Because I've got so much on my phone. There's photos. There's a method of communication for me. Mm-hmm. There's entertainment. There's research. There's just so much that's put into this phone that, and I'm going to be honest, this was like $1,000 phone. It was the iPhone 8 Plus with the super, whatever, 256 gigabytes. So just the crazy, package. Exactly. So it was an issue for me because part of it is like, I want to use this phone because it's cool, it's fast, I can stream the internet. Exactly. It's a tool for me, like just, maybe 30 minutes ago, I was able to turn on my TV, look up Philip DeFranco, stream it straight to the TV. Right. And like just the convenience and stuff that it offers, I appreciate. I just think that there are pitfalls for me. And if it's like, oh, let's go on Facebook. And then I'm just scrolling, looking at funny videos, looking at pictures, close it. 10 minutes later, oh, let's go back on Facebook. Like it's that kind of repetition. I don't know if I'm gonna have so much the having to look at it because and again this is part of what I've been debating about myself is sometimes like I would love to just leave my phone at home, like because I have the Apple Watch, humble brag, it has the calling and texting, right? And so if I can just leave my phone at home and then if I get a text message from my dad or
swipe and
boom boom do it is, or if I need to call him I can just hello blah 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 whatever. And I mean, it's weird because honestly, that's like the only, like my mom and my dad, those are really the only people I want to make sure that I'm constantly connected with. Otherwise, if I can just put my phone at home and if it's an emergency, I've got an office phone. If it's something else, people know where I am, so that won't be so much of an issue for me. But it's like I just have this fear, I guess, that my mom's gonna call and then I'm not gonna be able to answer it, and then she's gonna worry or something's gonna happen and I'm not there. So there's that kind of the connection that I still have to have. Otherwise, everything else I feel like I can just kind of put away and just shut to the side. So will I be able to last? I don't know.
Well, I'm proud of you for making that first step.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I did a speech in college where I talked about the ills of social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked everybody before I even started my speech, everyone pull out your phones, pick your favorite app, your favorite social media app, and just delete it. You don't have to deactivate it. Just delete it off your phone. And then just put your phones face up. And first person to grab their phone loses.
Okay.
First person to look at their phone loses.
Sure.
And nobody did it.
Really?
Like, not a single person. Nobody would dare deactivate their phone because it was a clutch. It was
for sure.
They were like, why do I need to? And it's like, just do it for my speech will take 5 minutes. You're not supposed to be on your phone anyway,
right?
Like, so just do it.
Right.
Like, it's no big deal. Nobody would do it. Not a single person. And so it takes a lot for somebody to go outside of themselves and see, is this actually helping me? And I hope that this brings you towards a more self-perspective. Sure. And
well, and I don't
unless
know.
That's not the reason why you
no. I mean, that's definitely like I would love to just be able to be, because I've used this expression before talking to my dad playing video games, but it's kind of a tunnel vision thing where you're so fixated on, okay, what I leave for the day, what am I having? I got phone, wallet, keys, backpack, laptop, that's about it. And so that's just in the back of my head saying, okay, do I have all that stuff? Okay. Oh, my phone did a buzz. What's going on with that? And so it kind of takes away from, I would not necessarily want to make this definitive conclusion, but I can say, looking at sort of my attitude at work and the trends, I guess you could say, that I've had at work, is it's very much, I'll be in a train of thought, excuse me, I'll be in a train of thought, doing whatever, looking at a database, whatever, coding, and then bring, and then, let's immediately stop what I'm doing, and then let's focus on this. And so, I mean, sure, obviously I could just turn off notifications or do whatever, but for me, I think it would just be to take that extra step to just say, okay, let's delete this. Sure, I could re-download it, but that'll be a hassle, and I think it'd be more productive because, out of sight, out of mind. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to like say like, oh, this is the best way to do it, because obviously that was kind of my issue going through this, is like, well, I use it to stay connected, have family members and stuff like that, important updates, blah, 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 or you can define how really important an update is. But just general, there are social media people, and I guess they're called content creators that I follow, and that they, I'm active in their lives, more or less, however much a social media follower could be. So that was there, and now I won't do that. So, excuse me, gosh, those marshmallows really got to me.
Yeah, same.
So I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows if I give it a week and then I suddenly feel enlightened and I feel elevated above everyone else, and then I can tell everyone how much better I am for deleting social media.
How do you feel about younger kids that are sucked into it way before we ever were?
I think it's unfortunate. I mean, realistically, though, I blame the parents, because if you don't have, if the parents aren't able to moderate it, it's like, oh, hey, look, I found this thing on the floor, and the kid's going to play with it. And if the parent isn't there to say, hey, stop it, don't play with it, then the kid's going to do it either way. Right. So I think you can pull that back to a bigger conversation about how today's parents aren't taking responsibility and blah, blah, blah. Like, right. I mean, even, 5, 6, 7 years ago, you still had, I remember all the time, like when I first got my job at GameStop at the age of 16, for those of you not 100% aware, GameStop is a place that sells video games and video game consoles and stuff. So, definitely while I was in middle school, growing up, played video games a lot. It was like, oh, super great, super awesome. So what would be the next logical step in my life, when I start working at the legal age of 16? Let's work at a video game store.
Right.
You'd be surprised at the amount of times, like, and even people joke about it online and stuff like that, but you'd be surprised the amount of times where I see a mom on her phone, blah, 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 whatever. And then the kid comes up and pulls this rated M game or whatever for blood and gore and boobies and cursing and violence and stuff like that. And then she's like, oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, yes, signed, done. And then he leaves. Like, I'm serious. And it's I'm not trying to say that, like, video games are ruining children, because that's not even true at all. Right. There have been studies and everything like that have proven that video games not only help kind of de-stress people, but also provide some kind of form of communication, and people can deal with their emotions. But that's a separate conversation entirely. Anyways. But
one that I think you'll have to have with the Evans, because
sure.
So all I know is Guitar Hero Battlefront.
Oh, sure, of course.
That's all I know.
Yeah, no, I'm going to talk your ear off about some stuff that you may or may not be informed on. But yeah, no, it's the lack of responsibility on the parents' part, because you'll have all sorts of like on Facebook, like seriously, you can enter whatever age you want, and you can go to whatever, and there is not safe for work things, and there's 18 plus things on Facebook.
Parents saying the same thing about MySpace back in the day too?
Oh, sure. I mean, but the thing is, though, it's like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
Snapchat, all of it.
There are adult content out there everywhere, and so if it's gore, if it's boobs, if it's whatever, you're letting your kid see that. And if you're not monitoring it and everything like that, well, that's unfortunate. I mean, hopefully the kid will not grow up to be some psycho weirdo who doesn't understand how to talk to women and doesn't understand that you can't be violent with everybody or whatever happens. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I mean, it's definitely not helping that, it's like, I don't know. And what are we going to do about it? I don't know. I just know I'll be more engaged. I think realistically, it's just being engaged in your kid's life. I think the more you invest in what your child is doing, not necessarily just giving him stuff or making them do this or sign up for baseball, do football, blah, 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 you're going to do this, but like actually take him to practice. I know whenever I was doing baseball, like my dad was always like the assistant coach. Mm-hmm. He would always help with the team. He would help with practice and stuff like that. So like he was part of that. He would take me to games, all that kind of stuff. So sure, that might be just a small part of my life that, he was active in, but he was active nonetheless. So, not to say my dad wasn't active in my life. I mean, he was, but anyways, going on a rambling here. So, I don't know, if you're a parent and you have a kid, just look at, like, honestly, just take their phone, and sure, snooping is bad, but just snoop and see what's on their phone. Obviously, I don't think you should punish them if you find anything that you don't like, because again, privacy, even at a young age, I think everyone deserves a little bit at least. So depending on
we grew up in different households.
Well, okay, so one thing I really, really respected my dad for was he would never look at my text messages, phone calls, text messages. He wouldn't monitor them. I know like a lot of parents would go onto the cell phone carrier website and look at all these text messages because you thought you deleted them, but actually they're still online. But my dad would never do that. Same thing with my mom. There was a level of privacy that, sure, if I was being a butthead and I was like not wanting to do anything or listen to my parents, privacy's gone. That's a given. But
they give you privacy until you've taken it away.
Right, exactly.
Until they have a reason to take it away.
Exactly. So, I mean, do that. If I think you'd be blown away with the kind of stuff that you'd find on your kids phone. Real quick, let's take a second. My dog is whining, so let's see what's going on.
Let's do it.
All right, and we're back, and just took the dog for a walk, and he had to do his business, so that's fun. Not really, kind of. I mean, he's a goof, but you gotta love him. Anyways, we were talking about something social media, and I think I was saying the same thing over and over again. I don't know if you had any last tidbits.
No, I'm just happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope that it leads you to being more fulfilled in other avenues and not looking towards social media as a way to fill a void that you're filling up with antifreeze.
Well, thank you.
Filling it up with
gravel
or booze, for that matter.
Or booze. There you go. One other thing also I want to mention. It was kind of like a slight comment. Delete also my dating apps, and I know we were kind of talking about that as well. I know we kind of did it for different reasons. I think you were saying yours was kind of parallel to with the whole social media thing, just with
it was just the whole form of just trying to be a person.
Yeah,
because I'm not a person when I'm staring at my phone. I'm not a person when I'm looking to impress other people, or if I'm looking at my my social currency as how many likes I get or how many girls swipe right or left or whatever the hell.
Of course.
And it's just, and you mentioned that like it's not about finding out who your true friends are. I disagree. I discovered a lot whenever I deleted my social media in terms of who my close ones are. And it wasn't about who was going to wish me a happy birthday, none of that bullshit. It was just about who took the time to say, hey, what's up?
Sure.
And a lot of friends that I thought would didn't. And so I had no problem saying, you know, these are my guys. These are my guys. Okay. This is who I want to associate with.
No, that's totally fair. Friendship is always a two-way street. So like I get that. I don't know. I mean, the friend group that I've been in, I don't want to call them antisocial, but it's definitely like they're very genuine about their emotions and feelings and what they're going through and all that kind of stuff. And they'll reciprocate the same thing, asking you about your life. But in terms of getting that conversation started, it might take an extra step. Whereas with your friend group, you might not have taken that extra step. So I don't know. Phones are crazy, man. Like, just everyone should just get flip phones again. So
I'm thinking about it. If they bring out a flip phone that can hold all the music that I have, then fine.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the flip phones didn't really have a lot of space. So yeah, let's create a flip phone that's got like 500 gigs of storage for music, and you can just plug it in, and boom, you're done.
It's actually pretty accurate.
Let's get that greenlit, everybody. So yes. If you're thinking of it or you have ideas, credit us, please.
TM.
Okay, so kind of a couple things, sort of keeping current with what's going on, and obviously stuff that's interesting to me, at least. One thing before I've just got articles that kind of essentially want to hit the highlight, kind of go into a discussion about it a little bit, and then sort of see where we go from there. But one thing, not necessarily an article, but a feeling. So Blake, what's your take on No More Toys R Us?
It's sad.
But you don't have like childhood memories of Toys R Us?
Don't get me wrong. I had a bucket under my bed that had as many Batman action figures that you could possibly imagine.
Nice.
And if I ever did well in school, or didn't get a note home to the parents, which wasn't that often, it was often that I got in trouble. It wasn't often that I got to go get Batman.
You were a good boy.
Right. But I would go and I would get like a $7 little Batman action figure, and I would play with those all damn day. Nice. And whenever I got home. And I just remember I went through an animal phase where I would want to learn more about lions, tigers, bears, all of that.
You know, I feel like everyone kind of went through that.
You're just fascinated by animals. Yeah. And so I remember I had like a 9-foot long stuffed alligator. Like,
nice.
Like, I don't know what you would
a plush or something.
No, like what would you like a stuffed animal? Just a big 9-foot long alligator stuffed animal that I would sleep with. And a whole bunch of lions and tigers and
bears. Oh
my, right? But yeah, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. Like I remember, I walked in with Brittany to a Toys R Us like a year ago, just to try to relive that fresh plastic smell.
Right.
And just like
the nostalgia.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly where the Batman section is. Yeah.
But now it's just kind of like, meh.
Well, no, I'm 22 years old.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I always,
as long as kids can still get action figures and live out their wildest fantasies, still killing the Joker with a little Batman action figure, then who cares where you get it from?
Little missile that shoots out of his hand or something like that.
No, he had one on his. It came with one
the
that
cannon
you would
or something
attached to. It would click on, then you would press a little button, and the spring would shoot out a rocket right at Mr. Freeze or whatever.
I remember one toy out of all the toys that I had, I remember one specifically, and it was the coolest Buzz Lightyear action figure ever. Like it was relatively small, so you could fit in the palm of your hand, but like all the joints were movable, and you could open and close his helmet.
How big was it? Because
it was like that big. Maybe?
Because we had one at my grandmama's house that was like this big. It was just being around. I never played with it, but I just remember it being there. Yeah. Like, what is that? What was I doing there? Toy Story was in 2000. We're over that.
Well, no, I don't know. Like, I just remember specifically, and also if you press the button, his wings would expand and stuff like that. So I specifically, and it's so weird because I don't know if this is like with you, but now, and I guess I don't know if you'll get more of this as we get older, but I just remember like weird short memories, just super detailed, specific, like maybe a 30-second clip of like something in my childhood. I can remember events, like I remember one time we had my mom had my birthday at, I think it was, oh gosh, what was it? It had like this indoor go-kart thing, but you had these wiffle balls and you had to throw it into the person's net or something.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I don't know. I don't remember what the place is called, but it was really cool. And actually I think the place is in Richardson, and I revisited it with some friends, and it was just as cool, just driving around. And you had it's this plastic mitt essentially, and you drive around, and you're probably going about 25 miles an hour or something like that max. And so you've got like 3 other teammates, and you can like pass this ball, and you have to try and fling the ball into the person's net. Right. So I remember specifically this like one vivid memory. My mom was bringing out the cake, and then she dropped the cake. And so totally off, as quick as she could, she's just like, all right, everybody, I'm sorry I dropped the cake, but everybody, let's jump on the cake. And so just literally we had a line of kids, and everybody would just jump on the cake, and just
my
like
mom would be pissed at your mom.
She was just, I don't know.
Tell me that Blake's gonna get his shoes wet? Absolutely not. I'm gonna have to clean those shoes off. The dog's gonna be licking on that all day.
Oh yeah.
There's no way in hell.
I can't believe you did that, Miss Parker.
Grab his fucking ear.
But anyway, so I just wasn't the specific memory I was referencing, but I remember I would play like I'd pretend that Buzz was flying. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I don't know. It was kind of like a bittersweet sort of thing, because I think definitely Toys R Us was past its prime. Like I think because we're definitely going into a day and age where literally you don't have to leave your house to have anything. Mm-hmm. You order food, you can order groceries, you can order furniture, whatever it is. So I definitely think Target, I say Target, but Toys R Us definitely outlived its prime. I don't know. I guess maybe they just didn't adapt as well as they could have.
How could they have adapted even more? You could still buy stuff from there online.
True.
Right? You could still order it in, right?
True. And I guess then the market, it was just not as convenient.
Well, think about it. So kids now, they have an iPad to play with.
Sure.
They have phones. They have video games.
They have
video
a lot of
games
technology.
Has completely taken over the kid market.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have my first PS2 wasn't until I was in middle school.
Right.
I would only play video games whenever I would go over to rich friends' houses.
For sure.
I never had any of that stuff. So I always had to. I had a little Batman Beyond action figure that had wings, and you could actually make it glide.
Oh, that's cool.
I had a fucking blast with that. I would
for sure.
throw that all over the house. Kids don't have a necessity for that unless it's like little kids that will buy like Thomas. Did people even do Thomas the Train? I remember making train tracks all around my house.
No, I don't think that's I remember the train tracks and stuff like that. Like it was these cool wooden pieces.
Yeah,
the wooden
connect together, and then you would have the magnets that would
connect
Thomas and all of his trains together.
It was really cool. My cousin had an RC circuit, and so that was always cool going to his house and like designing cool tracks and like with the ramps and the whatever and stuff like that. So that was really cool. I don't know. I think it just might be an attention span thing. I guess kids will play with a toy, and then I know how this toy works. I don't want to play with it anymore. I don't know. We should we could interview. Just have a span of just random kids. Be like, hey, do you play with toys? And then they say yes or no. And then
get out of my face, pedophile! Whoa. Exactly. What's the most like fun you remember having with the toy, like when you were a kid? Like if you were to think back and look at. Okay, it may not have been a toy. It may have just you used your imagination. But what set you up? Like after school, you would wait to get home so that your friends could come to your house or go to the park or come and do whatever. Like what's the peak, the pinnacle of all of that?
So it's not necessarily a toy, but the thing that like came blasting in my mind when you said that was something, and I have to credit my mom 100% for this, but it was something called Snow Day. And so it's, living in Texas, we don't see snow very often, unfortunately. So I don't remember how it started, but a friend and I we were hanging out, and then I don't know, my mom just came up with it, and so we had a bunch of plastic bags, like just from groceries and stuff. I keep my plastic bags. I don't know if I think other people do that the same. I'm not like weird like that, but so we had a bunch of plastic bags. And so my mom would just, in the living room, move all the stuff and just throw the plastic bags. Oh my gosh, I'm having trouble saying things. And then we would just pretend it's snow and just like jump around and like throw the bags at each other, crumple it up, do whatever. Right. And then like we had enough that you could like you can kind of set a path and you actually could slide on the plastic and stuff like that.
Wow, that's fun.
So it was so fun always doing that, and it was literally just like kids just playing with a plastic bag.
Oh yeah.
So
we're very simple.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Charlie, are you okay? Oh, it's probably the cat. We'll take a second and I'll deal with him. All right. So many distractions. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
What one other thing? Sorry, I thought we keep pausing and losing train of thought.
Other kid memories.
Was we had a fire truck, and it was like one of those plastic, like very very thin wireframe with like a plastic outside, and so it had an inflatable wheel, and it was literally just like essentially two boxes together, and it looked like a fire truck. And I remember there was a bunch of times, and I'm sure my mom's got a bunch of videos of just me sitting in this fire truck with a friend or something, and then we just pop our heads out and just do random stuff like that. Just be goofy, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, no, I very much agree that I think childhood now versus childhood back in the day was totally different. So, and I don't know, is it good? Is it bad?
I think it's bad, right? Because when I was a kid, these are my two very distinct memories. And it was whenever we would go over to Granny's house, and she had a long driveway, and it was steep. And she would always have this wagon. It was a red wagon.
Okay.
And we would bomb that hill.
Nice.
Like starting from the age of 5 all the way up to like 10 or 11.
Nice.
We would, my two cousins, and my sister, because Trent wasn't born yet. We would bomb that hill. We would always get hurt. Every time we would get hurt. But we kept doing it. We kept doing it. And I think that's how you learn. And the other time was, I don't know if you ever went to Ranger games when you were a kid, but you would, if you stood in line, there's like a little wiffle ball park that you go to. And if you're a kid, you get to go up there and you get to try to hit a home run. And we got to take those bats home. It's like these yellow bats. And my friends and we got my dad to spray paint them the color lightsaber that we wanted to be.
Nice.
So I always wanted to be Obi-Wan, or I wanted to be Anakin, someone with a blue lightsaber. And we would beat the shit out of each other with those all the time. And we would pretend like I remember tying a shoestring like around my head to make it look like I had a Padawan braid, like just ridiculous, stupid shit like that. But we would tour the neighborhood and just have lightsaber battles all over the place.
Oh, for sure.
And just get hurt along the way. And fresh up, go do it tomorrow again.
Yep.
And I think I'm gonna quote Adam Carolla on this. He brought up astronauts, and like when astronauts are in space and they haven't been back on Earth in a while, they have to like be medically treated, like because you lose bone density, your immune system goes down because you're in the zero gravity atmosphere. I think that's what we're doing I think that's what most parents are doing with kids, at least that I see, is they're in a zero gravity. They're not developing muscle mass. They're not scraping their knees. They're not climbing trees and getting bit by fire ants like we all used to do, which
for sure.
I don't condone letting your kid get bit by fire ants, but it inevitably will happen if your kid is a Tom Sawyer like me and you were.
Sure.
So
I don't know if I told you the story, not to interrupt, but I was going to visit my cousin's house, and I guess we were leaving or we were just showing up. I forget what it was, but they had a ginormous fire ant pile right in front of their house. And me being a stupid idiot, either leaving the car or trying to enter the car, I stepped right into it. And I kid you not, like all the way up to my knee was just covered in ants. And that was not a fun day.
It's brutal.
Yep. That's all I got to say.
Do kids play with water guns anymore?
I don't really see kids, because like even in the apartment complex and stuff like that, you'll see kids, but they're just, I don't know, playing in the pool. I don't see.
You play with water guns, right?
I was so obsessed with water guns that I actually but I had my mom get me the backpack.
Oh my gosh!
With the extra water. Oh, I was so into it. Like I had this huge thing, like it was crazy with the pump, and then you could like switch the mode or something like that, and
make it like
like
rapid fire.
Yep, or something like that. So yeah, I was super into that kind of stuff. And I mean, I had friends who were too.
Were you a Nerf gun fan?
Oh,
same here. Didn't we have a Nerf gun fight in your house?
I'm sure at some point we had a Nerf gun fight. Oh yeah, no, and I mean, I'm not afraid to admit, like I'm pretty sure, like maybe a couple years ago, back at my dad's house, we've had a Nerf gun fight before.
No, yeah.
But no, when I was younger, like probably middle school-ish, back at the old house in Plano. We always had Nerf gun stuff. Like you'd always find just a random Nerf little bullet or whatever
stuck to a mirror
or whatever. Yeah, behind
something.
A couch or something like that. Oh yeah, it was that. Also, we played this really dumb game. We called it Zombies because at the time when the video game came out, it was essentially, long story short, it's a game called Nazi Zombies, and it's just shoot. Blake, I think you might have played it once or twice. And so you just shoot zombies, survive, get points, whatever. So us being kids, we're like, oh, let's just do this in real life. And so essentially upstairs in my house, or my parents' house at the time, there was a kind of just a small corridor, and so it was like perfect for, in the dark, you'd hide in the room, and so the only way to get into that room was through the door. So you had to like go out of the room and then like go through, and then we had like items that we had to pick up, or like whatever extra power-ups.
Man, y'all were high tech for sure.
Oh, like we were stupid. So one night specifically, and this is the only story that ever gets told when zombies gets brought up, where my friend, he was, let's say we were all very energetic and very rambunctious.
Sure.
So my friend, at one point, he was the zombie. He dove in the room, and he missed both of us because, like, if you get hit, then you're dead or whatever. So he dove in, missed both of us, and his shin scraped the metal edge of the bed frame.
Oh.
Yeah. And to the point where you could almost see bone.
Not bad, kiddo.
Yep. And
Not
so
bad.
And it was ridiculous because it was like he didn't even immediately notice it. Like at one point I was like, "Hey, Robert, your leg is bleeding." And he's like, "What?" Oh. So he gets taken to a care now. He gets stitches, and then that same night he comes back and we just start chilling, watching movies and stuff like.
The resilience.
Oh yeah.
Like kids are like a bunch of sponges. Like you can just toss them around. They're so malleable.
For sure.
Oh.
No, they definitely didn't have to ruin the night. That's for sure.
No.
So yeah, and don't get me started about like all the crazy stuff that we did with the video camera. Like my mom had an old cassette camcorder. And the crazy stuff that we filmed. I think we tried to do like
You didn't try to be Jackass, did you?
No, never that crazy. But I think we tried to do, it was always like, we tried to do cinematic stuff. Like I remember we did an I Am Legend parody or something like that.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was just ridiculous stuff. So childhood was fun. Childhood was fun.
We would have taken advantage.
Well, you see,
I think that's every old person. That's what they say, right?
That's true.
Oh, you better live it up now, because when you're my age, you're gonna be looking back, going, "What the fuck?" At least that's my granddad.
Well, no, I definitely, and I mean, it's like the whole time you're like, "Oh, I wish I can grow up and do things, and I want to have blah blah blah, and I want to drive a car, and I want to blah blah blah." You silly, naive child, go back where you don't have to pay money and work, and all you had to do was go to school, not fail, and you could do literally anything you wanted. That was it. That was your only restrictions. Oh. And even then, if you didn't do well in school, that was okay. So
sure it was. I'm here now.
Exactly right. So, yeah, I don't know. Childhood is crazy. I know you were saying you wanted to do like a deep dive of like kind of our childhood and get to know us. So
yeah, so like we can talk about hood rat stuff that we used to do as a kid. What TV shows we always watched.
Well, I think let's save that for next time. So just so it's a little more structured instead of just a random tangent. But I think is a pretty good time, actually. I guess we won't get into the articles because I think, Blake, you have a top and bottom you have to go through. Yeah, I think you do.
Do I?
Yeah. Do you not have it prepared? Blake?
I didn't know we were going to do it today.
Blake, come on, man.
I told you this one's going to be very controversial.
Well, that's what I thought it was like a completed, hey, by the way.
I can do it right now.
No, we need to be prepared.
Okay.
No, it's okay. We can talk about articles. Let's talk about articles and
do it.
And political news. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I guess we'll just round it off. Just kind of some interesting things going on. Well, actually, okay, before that, what is your top and bottom, Blake? So
my
everyone can be prepared.
Next time,
top and bottom
will be probably my most daring top and bottom 5.
Your most daring top and bottom, all right,
of all time.
Okay,
and it is ranking childhood cartoons for kids our age.
Okay,
so that will include Disney Channel cartoons.
Okay,
that will include Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon,
okay,
and that short stint where the WB or Warner Brothers on the CW came out with shows.
Sure. Like, are you talking Animaniacs and stuff? Or
sure.
Okay. All right.
All of that.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's gonna be definitely
yes. And it's gonna be within a time range, right? So it has to be. Both. You were born in 95. I was born in 96. So it's going to be up until we were 10.
Okay.
So all the way up to 2005, 2006. We're just going to say 1995 to 2006.
Okay.
So it's going to be in that 11-year period. The shows that were the top, the best, that ones that we went home and we were like, holy shit, this show's on. And every time we watched the rerun, we didn't give a fuck because it's still this show.
Right.
And the shows that we look down upon. Like, okay. I can't believe you watched that show.
Sure.
Like, what are you a spare?
Oh,
gosh. I
cannot
believe you watched that show.
I bet you 4 out of the 5 shows will be my favorite shows on your bottom list.
I bet they will.
I watched some pretty crap TV shows.
Well, that's why this will be controversial.
Some of those,
the general public may not think will be top.
That's true.
Some of them will not be bottom.
That's very true.
So.
Oh gosh, I'm excited. All right, well, stay tuned next week.
I didn't know you wanted to prepare today.
Oh no, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Okay, so one thing I found in the news that I thought was super duper interesting was that there was a Ohio student at a university who but essentially, well, I guess it was discovered a plastic eating bacteria. So they were saying that this potentially could help the trash problem that we have, but definitely doesn't solve it. I just think it's insane that like I couldn't have ever imagined that we can just have something that eats plastic, because for years you're just like plastic
it's not
it won't ever exactly
it'll
so
just stay there forever.
It was saying stuff like how let me review this real quick, but yeah, I don't know. She was just saying that the student discovers plastic eating bacteria which could solve global pollution crisis. So I guess we'll just go through the highlights real quick of this just because I think it's kind of interesting. So it can degrade, and again, excuse me for the chemistry talk. I'm not very fluent on that. Polyethanol terephthalate, or PET, a common plastic which is used in clothing, bottles, and food packaging. It degrades in centuries naturally, and until then, it damages the environment. So essentially, she's saying that this bacteria's metabolism can just go crazy and start eating plastic.
That's badass.
So the first steps was to hunt for microbes around refineries from her Houston. She was is this? I thought it was Ohio. I could have sworn I read this from Ohio. There's no other Houstons, right? There's only one Houston, Texas?
I have no idea.
I would hope there's only
Houston somewhere else, right?
I really hope that there's only one Houston, one Dallas, one Austin.
I know there's not one Austin.
Really?
Yeah.
Austin what?
Fuck.
Just Google it. There you go.
Uncultured.
It's okay. Hey, what was that about? There was another article we read about how we're very egocentric, and Texas is one of the top states that it was kind of interesting. Contributing to America's history, Texas polled, from each state. I think like 21% of Texans believe that they played a major contributing factor into our history.
Right.
And then also I think California was pretty high too. But like a lot of the kind of western sort of northwest states were like probably 5, 6, 7% or whatever.
We suck.
I mean, we just got bought by the Louisiana Purchase, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 Austins in the U.S. There's also an Austin in Haiti. There's also an Austin in Manitoba, Canada. And there's also in Brazil.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
So
makes me less special. I guess.
I'm sure Dallas is the same way. It can't be. I think if you're going to look at cities that aren't used that often, I would look at Spanish cities that were named after, like, so San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
That I think has a better chance than, say Waco.
Okay, true.
I would guess El Paso.
It's actually pronounced wacko. Sorry, continue.
Is it?
No, I don't know.
That's what I thought. I don't know, the Brazos or San Marcos or something like that. I bet those are more specific because when the Spanish and this was all Mexican territory, I'm sure they had names for every single settlement that they had that was different, because you had a whole bunch of other important founders in Mexican history that founded those, and I'm sure they named it after themselves.
Right.
Like, so we have Stephen F. Austin, who founded Austin, and obviously Texas blew the fuck up, and so that doesn't surprise me as much as if there's another San Antonio or if there's another San Marcos.
Okay,
just like
that's
there's
fair.
I don't know. Is there another? There can't be another New York, right? There can't be.
I'm sure there's another New York.
Yeah.
I
know there's a Paris, Tennessee.
And Paris, Texas.
Yeah, there's a Paris, Texas for sure. And it's like, why? I
don't know.
Like, you can think of a better name than Paris.
Oh, I mean, we could do like a short segment of all the crazy names that Texas cities have. Like, I know
crazy.
Oh yeah, there's a Telephone, Texas. There's a World, Texas.
That's awesome.
I just remember I was bored at work like a couple years ago, and I was just looking through it, and there's like you just Google like weird Texas city names, and I think there's like a Bigfoot, Texas, and
I believe that.
Granted, a lot of these cities are like population 100 or less, so I guess you can call them more like towns, but still names
cities, yeah.
Names nonetheless. Anyway, so
That'd
just
be another top bottom.
Oh, Blake's top best city names, worst city names. But anyway, the thing on the bacteria thing, it was just saying that it essentially lives off of this plastic material.
Wow.
And so they just need to refine it, and they need to like reproduce it to a mass quantity and stuff like that. Oh, for sure.
Just dump a ton of it into the Pacific Ocean.
That may or may not be the best thing.
I mean, what could go wrong?
I guess that's true.
We don't know, right?
Because
this is just newly being discovered. It just reminds me of George Carlin's bit. Have you ever heard George Carlin's bit on like the people that are like save the world? And he's saying the Earth doesn't need saving.
Yeah,
the Earth doesn't need saving.
Yep.
Like the Earth is gonna be fine. We're fucked.
Yep.
We are so screwed.
Yep.
But like in a million years, when we're all gone, or however long until we're gone, there's just gonna be a new Earth called Earth plus plastic. Who knows? Maybe the Earth needed us to create plastic, and it needed plastic for itself. Who knows?
Right.
And so, that's what it reminded me of. Is oh well, the Earth found a way.
Sure.
The Earth found a way. I don't know how it did, but hey.
Yeah, it's insane to think that like out of the entire lifespan of Earth, we are only such a fraction of a percent.
Well, I think if you were to look at it as a clock, like the 2 million years that we've been on this planet, like constitutes in like a 24-hour day, we only constitute 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Maybe less. Like I think it was 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it was actually
perspective.
It was really cool. Last year, whenever I went to New York, we did the oh gosh, what is it? What was the movie night at the museum? What was that museum called?
The Smithsonian?
Smithsonian, yes. So we went to the Smithsonian, and they had this really cool exhibit, just the space exhibit, essentially. And so after you essentially had and I believe Nicolas Cage was the narrator, which was really cool. So again, the whole, this is the Earth, and blah, 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 whatever. And but after the presentation, you stepped out, and it had this spiraling down a walkway, and that was like the timeline of Earth. Or timeline of the universe, I guess, really. So it was like, here's where the earliest record that we think it is with dark space and gray matter or whatever, and then going forward, and then it was like saying like each step was like 100,000 years or something. Each step you take down the spiral, and then it was like only towards the end was okay. Now here's Earth and here's us.
Dinosaurs, and then you take a half step, and then there's the ice
right
age,
exactly, and then like
a toe step, and then there's
exactly us. Right. And I just, it baffles my brain that just how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things, which I mean, not trying to like sound depressing,
or you can look at it from a standpoint of holy shit, out of all of that we're here. How the hell did this happen?
That's true.
That's insane. Is that not insane to you?
That is insane.
That you can play a piano, that there's bacon flavored soda out of nothingness. Isn't that crazy to you?
I agree.
I think it's insane.
There's
no way.
Honestly, I think everyone should just like take a second to think about that, and just not to like be all douchey sophisticated, but it's a very humbling thought process. Yeah. Like to think that all of this was achieved within the past, 1,000 years or so, just the crazy innovations we have and the crazy technology that we've advanced and what we've turned Earth into. So it's fucking wild. It's baffling.
It's wild.
It's
very so baffling. Fun to think about. Like just how did we become this?
Exactly.
It blows my mind. It gets to the point where I'm just remember like looking off into nothing, thinking about it. And then I think a thought will enter my mind like there's you like I can't even comprehend it to the point where I snap back into like, oh work.
Yeah.
Like it's just oh, okay.
I was just having an existential crisis, but I guess I'll go back to this meaningless job.
Right.
That's how I feel all the time. I'm just like, man, there's so much I could be doing right now, and there's so much I could be like exploring and learning, and like just let me just take a boat and just sail and just see what happens. But no, wait, I have to go back.
I would not recommend just taking a boat and seeing.
That was.
Then you get a documentary made about you.
No, has been a long-term dream of mine, is to just
go and sail.
Like honestly, just take a year off, or even just doesn't even have to be a year. Just take like 6 months off. Yes, Charlie's very annoying.
Hey,
puppy. He's like chewing on a thing. I don't know. Anyways, like even if it's just like a 6-month journey and just plot it out, get my rations, rent a boat or buy a boat if I get to a point where I can afford a boat, and just go. I've always been like in love with, and I don't know if it was the movies or just kind of the whole learning through history and just like the navigation within the sea and plotting and cartography and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. But it's been fascinating just to like live in the ocean, or not in the ocean, but like on the ocean. So
I don't know, that scares me, not because I'm afraid of the ocean. It's like but just the being in nothing and one thing and I'm fucked.
Oh, for sure.
I don't like that risk. I don't like that risk. Oh,
for sure. No, I totally get that, but I just at this point I think it'd be fun. I mean, I don't know. Would I go by myself and take a smaller boat, or maybe go with a few other people and maybe have a larger crew?
I would recommend that.
I mean,
in case you need to eat one of them.
Well, that's very true. If I run out, yep, that's true. It actually reminds me. We'll end on this joke. It was a white. Are you familiar with the Whitest Kids You Know?
Yes.
Okay. So they had this one bit where. Oh, you're good.
Give it.
It's okay. It's just a butt. He's fine. He'll just keep. I know. We'll have background noise. This is the green onions. Anyways, so the bit was they were all stranded like in the middle of some winter wasteland or something like that. Okay. And so they've run out of food, and they had another person that they had to eat. So his arms, legs, blah, 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 whatever. And so they're sitting and they're all shaking and they're cold and they're like, oh man, we're going to die out here. Blah, blah, we're going to die. And then Timmy, he's like, guys, we don't have to die. You know, there's one part we can still eat. And he's like, Timmy, no, don't say it. No, we're not. We could eat his dick. No, Timmy, we're not going to do that. But guys, we're going to die without it. No, Timmy, that's gay. But would you rather be gay or dead? And it was just really funny. So, and then definitely, if starving gets to there, we definitely have to have an extra person.
I would let you eat me.
Oh, thanks, Blake. I appreciate it.
If I die first.
Oh, okay. That's true.
And in which case...
Well, then who cares? Yeah, right.
No,
doesn't matter. Yeah, no, I'd definitely not go nuts first. I would say
there's some protein in there.
You know what? I'm good.
Don't take them for granted.
I'm good.
But take off a thigh first.
There you go. That's perfect. Just have some barbecue Blake. Anyways, on that note,
not taste good.
Thank you everybody for tuning into this podcast. Appreciate Blake you coming as always, and have a great day or night or whenever you're listening to this podcast. Peace.